Welcome back to Major Decisions. I'm your host, Ashlynn Wyman, and today I have a new special guest. Do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us what majors we're going to be talking about today?
Hi, my name is Hannah Radden. I'm a public relations major and a multimedia journalism major at Southeast Missouri.
Woohoo! So we're in Mass Comm today. So this is, my area, Hannah's area. So I'm so excited to talk to you about it today. Mass Comm has 4 options, and as Hannah mentioned, she's in 2 of the options, MMJ, which is multimedia journalism and public relations. The other 2 are advertising and TV and film. So you're really hearing half of what the entire department is today. But I really wanted to get Hannah on here today because we've had some classes together, and I think Hannah has got her stuff together. She knows what she's talking about. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right in. Hannah, can you kind of explain what is public relations and then what is multimedia journalism?
Sure. So public relations is basically you're just working with the people. So every company kind of has a PR firm or PR with them because they deal with the good and the bad in the company. So you're kind of wanting to connect to what your client has to offer to their audience. So that's through storytelling, through media packages, any type of media in general, social media, photos, and you're just kind of promoting them to the audience and kind of giving them like, okay, this is who we are, this is what we offer, and this is what we want to show you. So that's kind of what that is, and it kind of also ties in with journalism because they both really deal heavily with writing. So multimedia journalism is pretty much you're writing for a publication if you're through newspapers or anything else. But then the multimedia aspect kind of gives you the audio, you get video, even like photos through it. So I really liked that they were both kind of working with each other. It wasn't just like 2 separate majors. Like when I, go somewhere to apply for a job, I have both aspects that still work together, but like both kind of have a different kind of a different sense to it. Like, I can do a video package for you, but I can also, write the PR for you for your company.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really like the option. They were both together, and they still kind of gave me like fun options to still write and still promote myself through videos and other media.
Yeah, very, very well rounded. I feel like, you're getting, a good sense of everything that you might need as a professional, I feel like.
Right.
So why did you choose mass media?
I actually didn't at first. So I think a lot of people kind of go to college and you just don't know what to do. I actually came to SEMO to be a speech pathologist. So completely random. They had a great speech pathology program. Yeah. They just made these new buildings, and I didn't really actually choose SEMO. I was just like, well, this school seems good. They have what I need. So I was like, hey, I'll just go here. I took general ed my freshman year. I didn't want to declare yet speech pathology just in case, and I took MC 101 with Simmons my sophomore year. And I'm like, I'm hooked.
Okay, it wasn't with Simmons, but MC 101, it got me too. I was like, oh my goodness.
It was just like the great class. I'm like, this is like speech pathology. It's always going to be around. Someone's always going to need you, and I could always offer something, whether it be through like different media. And I just liked that it was so like rounded. There was so much you could do. It wasn't just you're going to go to an office, you're going to do this every day. You can go out and do reporting. You can go out and work with some companies, So it was really just so different than I would, expected. So yeah. I took the MC 101, took different classes, and then my professors kind of like, and my family was like, you probably would like PR. So I started taking those classes, and then I was like, okay, I really like this. And then my junior year, it's like, well, I really like writing. And I got that from PR, but I wasn't writing kind of like, what I wanted to. It was more like, you write for the corporation you're working for. So I was like, let's just take like a journalism class for fun. And I took I don't even know which one it was, but I think it was with Dr. Buck. And like, well, I like this too, so what do I do? So they said I could do both, and it worked out too that I would still graduate in 4 years because some of the classes overlapped, but you still were doing different things. So I really, enjoyed that a lot. I'm really glad I did both. I mean, the workload, it was really hard.
Yeah.
But hopefully I'm gonna graduate this May and
Hopefully
something happens. But yeah, I mean, just it was definitely I was hey mom, I'm gonna do 2 majors. I'm like,
yeah.
what?
Did you know what PR did, or were you aware of what that was before you got into college?
Actually, I didn't, not at all. I mean, my aunt kind of did a little bit with it, but she's the one who kind of was like, you really might like this. You really I like to talk. And I like people. So
Yeah.
it's like, so she, you might like this. And I was like, okay, like I didn't really know what it was, but
yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it was just pretty open there. I had no idea what I was getting into.
Yeah.
I just kind of took that class, and I was like, well, this is like what I want to do. So.
Yeah, it's very, very interesting, and I think that it taught me just a wide variety of what different mediums are and how you can express different things through different mediums. Like, it was just fascinating to me. I think that's probably fascinating to all people who are, media driven and, things like that. So I just found that very, very cool. What has been your best experience throughout this double majoring time?
I think my best experience is getting to learn and understand, from the professors here.
Mm-hmm.
Just getting, they worked in this field before. I think that's what I really enjoy because they know what they're talking about. It's not just textbook. It's you're learning from experience. Right. So having, people around me in the same major understanding that and learning through that process has been probably the best experience because I feel like that's really going to help me later on because it's not just here's a textbook, learn it yourself. It's let's go learn this. I used to do this, so we're gonna try to do this. So
and actively,
right. It's not just straight you're learning it yourself. You're kind of building from what they know, and then you're doing it yourself. So that was probably the best part about MassCom is it wasn't just learn these terms and then go on. You're actually you're doing reporting. You're making packages for PR. It's just all different. And it's very hands-on. I like that.
Will you go ahead and tell us a little bit of the classes that you have to go through and how they kind of split and come together, just so people can kind of know what they would be getting whenever they go into these classes?
Okay, so you start with the general classes, the intro classes. So for PR, they had those heavily focused on the media and stuff, and then the journalism ones were also basic. You start with, writing and then making, understanding different formats for writing. So there's scripts for video and audio. But then some of them came together because prerequisites. So you have your the history of media and stuff like that kind of give you that background. So they all kind of I still learned from each, but then they also helped me, go together to finish the 4 years because they had, same prerequisites. So
yeah. And there's a lot of when you talk about writing, writing styles are so specific when it comes to PR and MMJ. They often kind of intertwine. When you're writing a journalism story, they have you have to have a certain lead and you have to write an AP style, and that's very reflective in PR as well. Whenever you're having to write an AP style, so you have to learn what that even is if you don't know what it is. Super fun, but it's really good experience along the way. So there's a lot of overlap that is just necessary in both areas, and so it's very, very beneficial. I considered doing both of them for a while. Kudos to you because MMJ is very, very hands-on, very, very
yes, and especially being in the Aero, I would say that was probably one of not necessarily a club, but the extra activity you had to do really kind of gave me that, okay, I like this. It's a lot of work and you really got to put your time into it, like they say. But I mean, that writing ability still was, I was still continuing to write, and that was helping me PR. So I was still keeping up, okay, AP style, I got to keep up this, and that kind of gave me an extra, I could use later on if I'm applying for jobs and stuff. I have that to offer you.
Go ahead and explain what the Aero is.
So the Southeast Aero is the newspaper for this college, and that we're a multimedia first, which means we produce media content. So it goes straight to our website,
Go straight to this podcast.
Yeah, right. This podcast is part of it. We have shows like Arrow on the Air. It's the other audio show, and then Fox Nest and From the Newsroom. So they're all heavy on the media, which is great because our world is obviously first, media. So having that aspect and getting that, also ready. Because I wasn't really into that before.
Mm-hmm.
I actually bought my own camera because of this major.
Really?
Yeah, I got it off Facebook Marketplace. It was a great deal. So, and yeah, now I like photography because of this major.
Wow.
I would have never picked that own hobby up for myself.
That's fun.
And there's people here who can teach me how to do it. So it's not like I have to learn it myself. Everybody's always willing to help you. With audio, I was kind of helping run the Arrow on the Air. I never would have.
Really? I didn't know that.
I never would have even thought to do that.
Yeah.
Helping. So it's each class, even though it's stressful, it's a lot of work. You're getting something out of it each time. So I think that's the best part about this major. You're always going to get something that you need.
Yeah. So. And I think something super special about the Arrow is that it's giving you things that you can, you'll have and you get to publish and you get to represent. And now you have your portfolio to build. So you have stories that you've written that are going to be on the website or in the newspaper, and you have packages that you've written, and you can use this podcast one day, so that you are in all different types of mediums. And the Arrow gives you that opportunity to get experience and build your portfolio in what they call a learning hospital, which means that we're constantly learning and we're constantly trying to fix things and figure out what's going on, and it's never set in stone. It's always changing, and we're always trying to find that next big thing or learning how to conform with what's going to be next. We're not trying to be complacent. You aren't learning just the basic things. Like, you're always trying to better yourself and better the profession, which I think is super, super, super special about the Arrow. What do you think is the culture around this major, the professors and the students and the whole department?
What do you mean by culture?
Is it small? Do you know a lot of people? Are you really comfortable? Class sizes, things like that.
With just the Arrow overall?
Overall, the entire major.
I say I have met a lot of people through this department. I wasn't in a sorority. I did marching band for a year to meet some people, but I did do a few other clubs. But I feel like I've met a lot of people just through this major. Everybody, you gotta talk. This major is all about talking and finding, sources. So I feel like I've learned a lot from the people I've met, and I've also met a lot of great people. Me and Ashlynn had a class last semester. Woo-hoo! It was a hard one, but we did it.
Yeah.
And I think that, you share your experience with everybody else. So everybody knows what you're going through, so you can relate easily. I think that's a really great part. Everybody's so open to talk to you. Even if you don't know the person, hey, can I ask you a question about this? It's easier, I feel like, because we're all doing the same thing.
Yeah.
And we have to, help each other for that. So, I'm sure other majors are like that. When you're in that major so long, you just meet so many people. But I feel like you really have to get to know people here because, you're relying on for an audio or, I need help with a video package. Can you come with me? Being a senior, I helped a freshman do their first story.
Oh, that's so nerve-wracking.
Yeah, and I was like, so, ask these kind of questions, and I'm trying to, remember back what, Dr. Buck taught me, and, from, PR and stuff, what you need to know, and so that kind of also is a great thing, you get to help the kids who, you were there first.
Yeah.
This was nerve-wracking my first time.